Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Entertainment Buzz. It's Friday again, and today we have another special guest. Please welcome the CEO of Fierce Entertainment Management, Rob Henlon. Welcome, Rob.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. So
You're
excited to be
so
here.
welcome. Thanks for coming on. We haven't seen you in a while.
I know. It's like catching up with old friends now during this whole COVID-19 thing.
I know, absolutely. Thank God for all this uh, computer Zoom
Yeah,
technology.
exactly.
StreamYard. We're using StreamYard. Let me
Yes.
correct myself. You're looking good. You've been
Thank you.
in quarantine, but you're looking good there.
I had to dress up for you. I know if I was going to be with beauty queen Jenny Rosario, I had to step it up a lot. So I had to put something on.
Thank you. Looking
So
sharp. You look ready for
thank
the
you.
runway there.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing that you only get this part because during the quarantine I must have gained like 10 to 15 pounds, so everything's all like real tight. But luckily you
Aw,
can't see that part.
I can't tell. Well, Rob, we're so excited to have you on the show. And, I love collecting bios from my guests, even though I've known most of them for a while, because I always get to learn something new or something in more detail about the guest. And so I got some pretty interesting information on you.
Uh-oh.
I knew you were a veteran, but I didn't really know your history.
Yes.
And so reading your bio was really inspiring. And of course, Veterans Memorial Day is in a couple of weeks. And so we'll be recognizing veterans. And you're a veteran, so I want to thank you in advance for your service.
Hey.
Look at that. What a nice picture. Where were you in that photo?
That was in Kuwait. That was in
That was
Kuwait.
in
Yes.
Kuwait. Okay. So you come from a military family, don't you?
Yes. Yes. So my dad's a retired Marine. 22,
Ooh,
23
a
years in service.
Marine. You were
Yes.
raised by a Marine.
I was raised by yeah. Now you know why I'm crazy.
Discipline.
Yes. So he's a retired Marine, and that was our life. We had inspections growing up. Me and my sister.
Oh
Our rooms. We
wow.
cleaned our rooms. It was inspected, and if it wasn't right, we had to do it again.
So we can bounce a coin off of your bed
Yeah. Back then, back then,
back then.
back then, I was like, okay.
Does Jennifer make you make the beds?
Jennifer, my wife, she doesn't make me make the bed. I enjoy making the bed
You
though.
enjoy.
You know what I
Oh
mean? I
wow.
enjoy I enjoy making the bed, and usually, she's up. She's a lot more motivated than me. So now, and it's funny because we kind of trade roles. Because now she works for the government. She
Oh
wakes up early
wow.
in the morning. She
Right.
voluntarily does boot camp, and I'm not doing any of that. So but making the bed, I enjoy making it because one of the things, and it's funny, but when you travel, you go to different places.
Mhm.
You leave your hotel and you come back and the bed is made up. It's like
Mhm.
such a good feeling, and
It is, right? It is.
so
That's one of the things that I need to do every day before I start the day. I have to make my bed. It just makes me feel good, and it's just a fresh, clean,
yes.
organized way to start the day.
And then when you go back home, when you go back in your room, for to end the night,
You
it
feel
feels
good.
good. You're like, yeah,
Yes, yes. And then, we make it look pretty with pillows and stuff. So it looks nice when I have to go back in and out of the room to get stuff.
yes,
So very nice. So you basically were raised as a military brat.
yes,
So
yes, I was.
military brats are so interesting because when you ask them where they call home, it's kind of everywhere, right?
It's
Where do you
everywhere.
call home?
Yeah, so I mean, home now is Orlando for me. Growing up, I grew up mostly in Jacksonville, North Carolina, Camp Lejeune area.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and I say mostly because we spent like the early part of my childhood there. Then we deployed. My dad deployed when went to. He was stationed to Hawaii. So
Oh,
we
how
lived in
nice.
Hawaii for 3 years. So Hawaii was home. Really was entrenched with the the traditions, the Hawaiian traditions. We had good friends out there. Shout out to the Lennies.
Aloha.
Aloha. So Samoan family just kind of adopted us. You know what I mean? And we were
Oh,
like
how
really
nice.
entrenched with that. Growing up. And then from there we went to New Orleans, Louisiana. So we lived in
Oh,
New Orleans, Louisiana for 3 years and met good friends and good family and got entrenched into that culture. And
Lakanola.
yeah, Nola, Nolans,
Nana.
yeah. Yeah, so fifth, yeah, so I learned how to play the trumpet on Canal Street, and
Really? Hey, that wasn't in your bio.
it wasn't in my bio because I don't want anybody to ask me to play the trumpet.
My
It's not
son
going to be.
plays the trumpet. You have to
He
play with
does.
him. He does.
He does. Okay, so I
Yeah.
knew he was a good kid for some
Hey,
reason.
you need a musician. He plays the piano, the oboe, the flute, the trumpet, the
Yes.
English horn.
Wow. Yeah, that guy is very talented, man. I'll follow
Thank
your I follow
you.
you on Facebook, and I
Thank
know you're
you.
proud. He's very
Our
talented.
house is blessed with beautiful music. I love it.
Marco, right?
Marcos, yeah. Wow. So you've grown up in Hawaii, New Orleans, and that just like scratches the surface
Yeah,
of all the places you've been to.
right. Then we moved
And
back to North Carolina. Yeah.
you you've really been all around the world. So
Yes.
what brought you to Orlando of all places? I know we're the vacation destination of the
Right.
world, but but
So,
what made you settle down here? I mean,
um,
Hawaii, come on. How do you compete with Hawaii?
Hawaii is beautiful. Hawaii was beautiful, and it's a great place, especially to visit.
Yes,
You miss people on the mainland when you're there for so long. So,
right.
um,
I haven't
we
been there yet. It's on my
it's on
bucket
your to do
list.
list.
It
Okay,
is. Yeah.
definitely is a
Yeah.
must. It's a must. You'll enjoy yourself. The greatest people in the world. So
Oh, I can't
it's
wait.
hard. It's very hard to come back once you visit. It's very
maybe
hard
I
to
won't,
come back.
maybe I won't come back.
So now we know where to find you if you disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
So Orlando. I visited, yeah, just like several people. As a kid, we had a vacation at Disney World, and it always kind of resonated with us. So once I joined the army, and moved around a lot. But I was stationed in Savannah, Georgia, where I met my beautiful wife, whose
Oh,
also name is Jennifer.
yeah, great.
And
We love
yeah,
Jennifer.
it's a great name. Great name.
Thank you.
So I met my beautiful wife. We went down to visit her father from Savannah to Fort Lauderdale, and they had a family friend that lived in Orlando. So we stopped here, spent the night in Orlando, and it just felt so comfortable for
Right.
both of us. And I think at that time we were just dating, so we kind of we really enjoyed the vibe. We enjoyed it as being a destination for families. So when we did get married, it was on one of our places as where do we want to live? You know what I mean?
Right.
I enjoyed Savannah, but I didn't love Savannah. I
Okay.
wasn't in love with Savannah, so
Hmm.
we wanted to look at other places, and I definitely wanted to be in the East Coast. Uh, my family's originally from Panama, so the tropical weather was an attraction. And then when my dad retired, he was looking for places, and he just happened to find this small town called Oviedo. So he
Oh,
moved. So, so
that's
it was
right down the
ironic,
street from me.
right? I mean, it was ironic because we didn't realize at that time. At that
Right.
time he was stationed in South Carolina, but we didn't realize like Oviedo is basically right next to Orlando. You know what I mean?
Right. It's on
So
the outskirts. Right.
right. So he did his research. He liked Oviedo as his place to retire. We're like, great. We're moving to Florida. We're moving close to this college called UCF, so that you
Nice.
know my kids could grow up. They could go to school there. But my wife was finishing college as well, so it just ended up that we all migrated in the same location.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you guys did that because I got to meet you here.
Yes, yes,
I love Orlando. I really gravitated towards the weather here.
yes.
I'm from up north. I'm a New Yorker. And like you, I would come here for vacations because I had some family that came here and I'd come here for vacation. And like, as soon as I would get out of the airport and smell the air, it was so
Hmm.
impressionable. It was just so different from, New York. I'm not going to say what New York smells like.
Hey, I've been in those elevators. I was born in New York.
Oh,
I've been.
the
I know what it
train
feels
breathe. Do you know how to do the train breathe?
like. Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, then I go back to New York, and I really would just miss Florida so much. So when I was old enough, basically, to go out on my own, I got on a plane to Florida, and I've been here ever since. Absolutely love it here. It's a great place to live, and it's also a great place for business. Some
Yes.
people don't agree with that. They say, make your money up north and then retire in Florida, and there is some sense behind that for sure,
Right.
especially if
Right.
you're, a government employee. Like a lot of my families they were New York City bus drivers. They had really good city jobs and made excellent retirements, and pension plans came out of that. And then they came to Florida. So it made total sense. But there is so much opportunity here in Orlando, Florida for business. And there's a lot of talent here. Of
Yes.
course, you have talent in New York, you have talent in California, and that's, where people like to pull their main talent from. But they're missing out because there's a whole pool of talent here in Orlando. And that's one of the reasons I love what you do, because you give talent here opportunities to shine. So you started Fierce Entertainment Management, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that business.
Oh yeah, so it's a business. Basically, my sister and I, who's my business partner, we came together. It was our second business. We started originally a graphics, web design, and internet marketing company called Ready Inc.
Oh,
And so through that, we got to meet different business owners and different people. But through that, what I realized in myself that my joy was really bringing people together and networking.
got
So fortunately, we had the opportunity to be hired to produce or to market and for an event. So that event was a stage play called "Do You Trust Your Best Friend?"
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
deep.
it was interesting. And so it was our very first stage play. It's a good friend of ours, Louis Brutus, was co-writer and producer of that. But that was their first play. But ir- ironically, they had the opportunity to reach out to a lot of celebrities from like the '90s. So they had like Angela Weinbush, they had Christopher Williams, they had Michelle A, the singer, before she went on to um, to shows. I forget what show she's on now, but so she was re-emerging back into
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
hip hop divas or something like that. She's on some show. So we got to meet those people, but when talking to them, I realized that they had everything for the production, the play, and everything was in place, but the behind the scenes part wasn't you know straight. Everything wasn't clear, meaning the production behind stage, the backstage production. So one thing I didn't mention is that I worked at Full Sail University with my sister before I decided to leave and start our own company.
Okay.
So at Full Sail, everything is a production.
Of
Basically
course.
everything's a production. So we
Yeah.
naturally learned how to do a production just by the mere fact of working there.
Top of the
Um,
line. Everything there is top of the line too.
yeah,
Really
definitely.
nice.
And
Mhm.
that's why I met the wonderful Melissa Thomas
Is
at Full
that
Sail
where you
University.
met
That's where yeah, that's
Melissa?
where Melissa and I met. So so yeah, so through doing that production, we were able to filled all of the gaps that was missing for the stage play. So we did
Okay.
everything from picking up the celebrities from the airport, getting the
Wow.
batteries, making sure there's extra batteries for the headsets, and queuing people, everything. And I was able to pull in some volunteers that worked with me at Full Sail. So we were
Nice.
able to do that, and it was fun. It was like so much fun, compared to doing a website or
I
graphics.
know.
You know what
I
I mean?
That's so I didn't know that it
Yeah,
was born out of a marketing company. That
right.
explains why you guys are so good at the marketing and social
Yes.
networking inside of it. What a great story. Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And your management background definitely came in handy.
Yes. Yes.
So, hey,
Yeah.
you can go to college and get your management degree and still
Yes.
work in entertainment.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You know, with management is all about, I do have my master's in management and leadership,
Yes,
and it's all about, bringing people together, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
And the leadership part is, taking them to a direction. So, bringing people together, working together as a group would be the management side, and leading them to a direction to where they could accomplish a goal
Right.
or a mission. That was my military self would say.
Yes,
That's the
mission.
leadership part. You know what I mean? So, so it's funny, getting into the whole fashion industry and everything. There is a lot of correlations with the military that you wouldn't believe.
Really? How
Yes.
so?
Um.
Other than the management, because I know
Okay.
you were a sergeant, right?
Yes.
Was
Yes.
it
I was
E5?
a E5. I was an E5 sergeant. Yes.
Managed over 100 soldiers, is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, my military track was is a story in itself, and it was a blessing because I had the opportunity from the time I was a E4 to work E8 positions.
Wow.
So if you consider, and I know I was speaking like military terminology and jargon to civilians, but if you think of, okay, I was in a corporate environment. Let's say I'm a person that just was newly hired.
Right.
I got to work in a like a director or executive capacity.
Okay.
So that's where, since I've done it once, when that was in Korea, I got lucky, stepped into a position where I was the newest soldier and they needed an E8. So there's like, you're going to learn, today. And
Right.
so luckily for me, other E8s took me under my wings and taught me leadership,
Excellent.
and that's where my love for leadership actually came from, because
Right.
they had, I was a kid, I had no clue. I wanted to have fun with my other friends, E4,
Right.
that was, hanging out and drinking and stuff like that, but I had they threw a lot of responsibility on me, and
Yeah.
I loved it. And luckily for
Well,
me, every step in my career since then, I've been in that role.
there's a lot of power in good mentorship. So
Yes.
that's a
Yes.
great experience that you had. And it's so funny because I have some friends that were sergeants in the army, and they're the nicest people. Like, if I didn't know, I would never guess that you were a sergeant.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you have to be so tough and banging on the garbage
Yeah.
cans to wake them up, and
Listen, I
then
wasn't
you're
nice.
so soft spoken and nice.
I
It's
wasn't
like
nice when I
it's
was a
like
sergeant.
having two personalities, right? You weren't
Yeah,
nice.
I was not nice when I was a sergeant. They used to call me Sergeant Hell No
Oh,
instead of Sergeant
really?
Henlon. Yes,
Oh
yeah,
my
because that
gosh,
that was my favorite answer to anything. So,
that's
but to
funny.
answer your question about Orlando, like how the correlation between military, being in military and doing event productions is, in the military, when you go to the field, you're basically going into the woods or the desert and creating a work environment. So you have to do different types of productions. You have to put together camouflage, which is large nettings. You got to, connect different vehicles to operate together simultaneously as offices.
Right,
And so that side of it is essentially a production.
right.
You're running wires, you're running cables for communications and stuff like that. And that's basically what we do at any event, the logistics of it. Or, we're setting up pipes and drapes. We're making sure the DJ, it has all the cables and the sounds that it needs. And,
Yeah,
so it's that same feeling. I get the same feeling, especially when they get the opportunity to work with other, sometimes we get, the opportunities to work with other veterans or whatever that will help us out.
right.
And it's just like being in the military again.
That's great. That's a great analogy. And my background's in production too, even though I work more so now in front of the camera. I do some producing behind the scenes too, but I worked for over 10 years in production after going to
Oh,
film school. And so
wow.
I often look at productions as like a clock. If
Yes.
you pull the face off the clock, all
All the
those
pieces.
pieces have to work together for the clock in its entirety to work properly. And there's so many different aspects of production, whether it's a live show, fashion show,
Yes.
television show, movie. it's just so fascinating to me to, see an idea come to life and then see all that has to happen and how well everybody has to work together,
Right.
to make everything happen smoothly. So you mentioned that your partner is your sister. That's Jessica
Yes.
Henlon. And we couldn't get her on the show today. There she
Hey.
is. She's so beautiful. I love Jessica. One of my favorite things about Jessica is look at that smile. She just like radiates joy all the time. She's
Yes.
so beautiful. I love her spirit.
Yes.
How's it working with your sister?
Wow.
It's hard to work with family, but
It
you guys
is.
always look so happy.
No, it's a blessing and a curse. Nah, let me stop. Um, I think,
There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff happening, right?
yes, there is. There is. I think, I'm lucky to have a sister like Jessica because first of all, yeah, first and foremost, she's a very good business person. She's a very smart,
Yes, she's
intelligent
so
person.
intelligent, right?
And yeah, and you would believe, the diversity of her skill set, from everything to, her background is psychology and she's a counselor by day, but at
Yeah,
night, she's a beast on PowerPoint,
good to
she's a
know.
beast. She understands marketing and all of that stuff. So, when we did our partnership with, a marketing company, she does a lot of that work and she does a lot now for our company. She's the one
Right.
that most of the graphics, like 95% of the graphics. She's the one that does
Oh,
them.
wow.
Um,
Yeah, she's great.
yeah, so she's awesome. Um, Luckily for me, I'm the older sibling, so I kind of have that inherent, you know, I'm older, so I get to say this, but I'm not her boss.
I
You know
was
what I
gonna
mean?
say, I don't think she's gonna say
No,
he's in charge.
no, I'm not her boss, and she makes sure that I understand that every time we deal with it. So she makes that very clear.
That's
Um,
funny.
I think it's just the element, just of respect.
Yes,
I would say I'm more creative. We're both creative in different aspects, but I'm a dreamer.
sure. Okay,
More the visionary. So I could see the
right.
future, and I could say like, okay, we could do this, and this hasn't been done before, so we could do this, and I put the stuff in place to do that, and my sister was like, wait, back up.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Who
So
keeps it
before I
real,
understand,
right?
right, walk me through each step on
Okay, I
how we're
got
going to
it.
get there. You know what I mean?
I got it.
And so I was
Oh,
like,
that's
I don't know the
interesting.
steps. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
help me think of the
right.
steps. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
she's the one, so once she understands those steps, she's like, oh yeah, you're right. We could do
got
that. And then
okay.
it's like full steam ahead. You know what I mean? So
Well,
she,
that's a good balance
yeah,
of the
it's
strengths and
definitely.
the weaknesses working together. Oh, that's interesting. Well, you guys always put on a great show and you seem to work well together. You always have that beautiful smile. You
Thank
guys
you.
look so much alike too. So there's no
Really? Some
denying.
You know what? Some people do not see that. Some people see it, and you'll be surprised on how many times I get asked if that's my wife.
You
You know
know,
what I mean? People
when
think
I
we're husband and wife.
when I first met you guys, I didn't know you were brother and sister.
Yeah.
So
People,
naturally, I thought you were a married couple, but I
right.
did think that you guys looked kind of alike. So
People,
I just asked, "Is
yeah.
that your wife?" And they said, "No, that's a
Thank
sister."
goodness.
And then I
Yeah.
saw
And
Jennifer hanging around you too, and I was like, "Okay,
right.
I need to know."
That's what I mean.
Is
That's what
that
happens because I'll be out with my wife, and people looking at me like, I
Oh,
see. I see.
yeah,
Like, look, this is my
exactly.
wife. That was my sister. You know what I mean? So,
Right, right. Well, we're gonna
but
take a peek at Jessica a little later because we just couldn't not include her in the
yes.
show. But I want the audience to get a peek at what you do with Orlando International Fashion Week. It's such a fascinating show that you guys put on. Let's take a look at this video clip.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So, he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning and calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because Through excessive thinking, they have lost touch with reality. That's to say, we confuse science with the real world. Beginning of meditation.
Hello, everyone. This is Orlando, Florida, and look at the fashion shows that we put on here.
Yes,
That
yes.
that stage is gorgeous, Rob.
Thank you, thank
Absolutely
you.
gorgeous. I mean, you're up there with New York, with London. I mean, that is amazing. You
Wow,
guys are definitely putting yourselves on the map.
thank you so much.
You're
Thank you so much.
welcome. Now, this video that we just showed is really interesting. It starts out with this really deep narrative.
Yes.
You know, and then it climaxes at this is the beginning of meditation, and then boom, a fashion show starts. how does that work together? Tell me. That's so interesting to me.
Okay, so the narrative is really truly the narrative is about perception versus reality, and that's where the whole thinking piece comes in. As far as where it comes from, like meditation. We would say definitely that every artist has to envision what they're going to do before they do it, and that's what we found with our designers. Before they create the designs, they envision what that's going to look like. They draw it out, and then they create it. The same thing with our makeup artists. They have a vision. They create a lookbook, and the hair and makeup is put together. So every aspect of the production, every person that's involved has to have that vision to understand what it looks like.
Right.
But so the story behind that is that was our fourth video with Global Films, a company down in Miami, Florida. And what they wanted to do, and we spoke with them, and we wanted to really create a video that could show the magnitude of the type of production that we could put on. Because the perception, just like you mentioned when right after the clip, is that Orlando does not have high-end fashion.
Right. That's the perception, right?
That's the perception.
That's the misconception.
That's a misconception. But the reality is, and that's what we were showing, what the reality is, what's happening, what type of talent that we have in Orlando, what type of productions that we have, what's the capabilities. So it was it's kind of like a secret message to sponsors, potential sponsors. Like I've had the opportunity to speak to several large companies about potentially being a sponsor to Orlando International Fashion Week. However, that was the question: is like, is there really a market? What type of shows are going on there? How many people show up and stuff like that? So we wanted to really make that point with that video, and that's what about.
Well, it was definitely a very thought-provoking video. I told you earlier when I first heard it, I was like, meditation and fashion. I got to think about this one. And I watched the video a couple times, and I realized, you know what? There's so much truth to this. That first of all, as you mentioned, there's a vision that happens first, and then it's very therapeutic to bring that vision to life. Because as an artist, you just have that spirit where you create something and you have to get it out of your system, right? So that's very therapeutic. And then from the model's perspective, because I've done a lot of fashion shows, once you're up on that stage and it's dark, but you have the bright lights on you, it's very mesmerizing, and the models get so focused out there. So it made a lot of sense to me after I really broke it down and analyzed it. And I thought, wow, that was a really clever video. I love that. So
not to give credit to
you guys and the creators of the video.
Thank you.
Was really excellent. And you managed to pull together a great team of hairstylists, makeup artists, designers. We have so many designers here in Florida, and models, a lot of aspiring models here. And we do have another video clip of a casting call. You guys are always doing casting calls. And the casting calls are full, and your fashion shows are always packed. So you definitely have proved that there is a demand for it here. Let's take a look at one of these casting calls.
Okay.
Hey, this is Rob Henlon. I'm here with Fierce Entertainment Management. This is day 2 of our casting call for Orlando International Fashion Week 2017. It's going through November 5th through the 11th. So today we have a lot of models coming in from all over, and very, very impressed with what we see. Very impressed with what we see. We have Brian Price taking some pictures, and we have all of the designers on the panel today that they're going to be making. They're going to be deciding who's walking for them and for which show that they're in. So you guys will get to see a little bit of that when you go inside.
Look at all those beautiful people.
Yeah,
Orlando has so many beautiful people.
it does. It does. And
And
it's like,
see, what an impressive panel of judges there.
thank you. Thank you. I mean, and those people, all of those people make the show. You know what I mean? So once again, I can't take credit for every single piece of it because I have the vision and say, okay, let's do something in Orlando. We put it out there,
Right.
but where you saw Fidel Gomez, he's a talented makeup artist. He was on the panel. You see like several designers out there. They're doing the work, and I mean,
Right.
I'm like just so blown away by the stuff that they've done. And then at the show, we have like incredible hosts such as yourself. So you hosted,
Oh, that's
you were one
right.
of our very first hosts, and the beautiful Angela Pasilico, of Miss
Yes.
International World Latina. That's how we met you, and we had the opportunity to have both of you guys as hosts. And
Yes, thank
Angela
you.
always closes the show with it. So
We
it's
had a
just
great time doing that. And Angela is such a great presenter.
she
We had
is.
her on the show last week, actually.
Oh yeah, I missed it, but I have to go check it out. I'm gonna go check it out. But she's so
Yeah.
beautiful. She's a great person and a great friend. So she's every time that we're doing a big fashion show, because I wouldn't want to waste her time with one of the smaller events that we do. But anytime
Right.
we're doing like a big show,
Mhm.
Angela will come down and she'll be she'll close it out for us. And always does an amazing job.
She does. She's such a great, he has a great stage presence. And you guys are, you you have so many things going on. You're so creative. You guys also offer classes, right? Workshops, acting and modeling workshops. I mean, it just
Right.
doesn't end with you. It's like
Right.
there's so many layers. You're like an
Yeah.
onion. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Like
so
an
many
onion.
layers.
I'm smelling like an onion right now.
Oh
No,
no.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm glad I can't smell you through the computer.
It's not smell vision. Right.
Right.
Um,
Thank God for those barriers, right?
no,
You
but
said you also offer acting and modeling workshops, right?
yes, yes. So we partnered with John Willard Floor. He's one of our team Fierce members. He's a actor, television commercial actor. He's done different things, with Billy Ray Salas and other people out there. So he teaches acting and guitar. And so we met him when we opened our studio a couple years back. And but right before the pandemic, we were teaching like acting classes as well as fashion, modeling classes.
Okay.
And pretty much like everything we've done, it's just been a demand. People have asked us, "Are you doing this? Are you doing this?" And it's like, okay, yeah, we'll do it. So
Right, right. Yeah, I get calls all the time from, well, I teach some classes too, but I get calls from aspiring actors and models, and even like kids of friends. Everybody wants to know how to get in the business. So
right,
I'm always taking calls and giving advice to young aspiring kids and actors. And of course, I refer Orlando Fashion Week to a lot of them. Let's take a look at a quick clip promoting your acting and modeling workshops.
Take 2, and there's no more tension.
That is so cute.
cool.
I love acting kids. I mean, I love
Yes,
kids in
me
general,
too.
but acting kids are special. They're
They're
all
amazing,
special,
man.
but they're very unique. I have a
I
lot of TV kids, and they're the best.
yeah, I love them. I love them. We call them our fierce kids. And so
Oh,
that clip,
The Fierce Kids. I
Yeah, our
love
first kids, so we love them. Ruby, you saw Ruby in that, and she's talented. She has a YouTube channel. Ashton, there was a guy, little boy, dancing at the end, and he's a model and actor. He's doing amazing things. So
You know what? Now that you said that, you know Dior, he's one of
yeah,
your top
Dior,
models. He's one of my
Dior's
TV sons.
yes, Dior. Yeah, he's one of our favorite fierce kids as well. He's
He's
awesome.
definitely a fierce kid. I
Yeah,
love working
he
with
does
Dior.
everything. Yeah, he does everything. He's very talented
He
at a
is
young
super
age.
smart kid. So before we take a commercial break, which we're going to cut to, we have a little trivia question about
Uh
Rob
oh.
Henlon
Uh
for the
oh.
audience. Don't tell us the answer,
Okay.
Rob.
I will
Okay.
not.
So you mentioned that you worked at Full Sail University. So
Yes.
what role did Rob play at Full Sail University? Was it A, an instructor, B, director of financial aid, or C, director of entertainment management? We'll be right back after this commercial break.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
Okay, Rob, what's the answer?
The answer is director of financial aid.
Oh,
Yes.
what a diverse background.
Yes, I was an associate director. Let me
Associate
clarify.
director.
Associate director. Yes.
Okay, I'm sure that helped you with budgeting for the shows and
Yes.
that's
Definitely.
awesome. Hey,
Definitely.
you know what? You never know what lies in a person's story. I mean, there's so
Exactly.
many layers to everybody. So that's awesome. I was so intrigued by that when I saw it in your bio. So I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, that was a good one because I know most people would have said, "Oh, entertainment and management."
I
Yeah.
definitely would have picked that one for sure. So that was a fun one. Fun fact about Rob.
Thank you.
And so we saw a photo earlier of Jessica, but I wanted to have a piece of Jessica on the show because she's such a big part of what you do. And so I almost felt incomplete to not let the audience meet Jessica for a second. And she put this really great video together that is appropriate to what we're dealing with right now. So we're going to take a quick look at this video that Jessica made. And of course, you said she works in mental health care. She's a counselor. And she made this video called Mental Health During COVID-19. So let's get some tips from Jessica Henlon.
So today's mental wealth segment it's an easy one. It's easy to remember, but it's hard to do. It's something that you have to do on purpose. You have to make time for yourself. Identify what your stress relievers are and make time to do that. So an example of a stress relief can be creative. Being creative can be listening to music. It can be making music. It can be arts and crafts, dancing, anything that you love to do that is creative. Also, keeping a journal is a good idea. Journaling is a way to get your thoughts out on paper. And as you're journaling, you know, it's just for you. It's private. So you can really go all the way in that journal and not worry about anyone reading it. Keep that journal private. Enjoying nature. I like to put down nature because I love nature. Okay, this is my favorite one. I like to go on nature walks, going in the parks. And you can also watch nature on TV. You can go on YouTube even and watch live feeds of nature, like bald eagles. You can see that on YouTube live. So it's very peaceful to do that. Also, last but not least, counseling. I have to say counseling because counseling is becoming less and less taboo, and there are so many resources out there. Some employers have free sessions through their employee assistance program, and if not, you can find counseling by dialing 211 for the United Way. They can give you resources. Just keep that in mind. That's something that can help you out. And I also like to say laughter. Laughter is a good way to relieve stress.
That was a good one, laughter. But you know what? I had a friend call me yesterday and made me laugh, and he totally changed the tone of my day. Thank you, Jessica, for those great tips. on keeping mental wealth
Yes.
during COVID-19. What a great title for that. She had some really good tips on there. And I love that she brought up nature. I actually had a girlfriend the other day who's studying herbal medicine, and she went on a nature walk with her husband and kids, and she was sending me pictures of all these plants, and she was identifying the plants. So she had her resource book helping her to identify the plants that are medicinal. And I'm just so fascinated by nature and natural medicine. So that's something that her and I kind of shared together. So I'm like, send me more, send me more. You know, like, I need to go with you next time. So great tips, making time for yourself. I was sharing that with another friend yesterday.
Yes.
We have to make some time for ourselves, because even during this time, like, you would think that everybody has a lot of downtime, but I'll tell you what, I don't think I've had one day of rest, even since, this quarantine. It's like, there's so many things to do. It's easy to fill up your time. And so making time for yourself is definitely very important. Of course, being creative. I love that one. And you guys are super creative. And you guys are very sociable. Of course, you have a social business. And now we're stuck in this quarantine, even though things are starting to open up. So how are you guys able to be creative during this time? How are you moving forward with business during this COVID-19 crisis?
Wow, I tell you, yeah, you're right. It's been hard not being out there and networking and being around all the other people. So it was really tough. But we decided to do a show, an online show, talk show called Fierce Entertainment Live. And so that clip, the mental wealth clip, is actually a clip from Fierce Entertainment Live.
Great segment. I love that.
Yeah, that's her segment right there.
That's a great segment to have on the show. So born out of COVID-19 was yet again another show.
Yes. Yeah, which is cool.
It's very cool. It's called Fierce Entertainment Live. And I'm going to be joining you tonight on your show.
Yes. You're one of our special guests tonight at 6:00, right?
And I'm so excited. There we go. There's the flyer for tonight with your hosts, of course, Jessica and Star and DJ Tron.
DJ Tronny Blaze.
You guys put a great show together. So, audience, Rob and I are spending the day together.
Yes.
That's so awesome. Thank you for inviting me on the show. We're going to have a blast. And again, you guys are so creative. So thank you for, not quarantining us from entertainment as well. You guys are so good at what you do. And I'm sure that it's just going to continue to evolve. You guys have so many other divisions too that we need to get into. And we're going to do that right after this commercial break.
Okay.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin clean.
The kid does have a point.
My hand is clean. Yeah.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
That's a cool commercial.
That was so cute. I haven't seen that one before. That was really cute. I'm a fan of wipes, by the way.
Yes. Especially with this shortage.
Oh, yeah, right. Exactly. So you have two other divisions as well. And I'm interested in seeing how you're going to handle those divisions in the next year. So you have FEN Social, which is Fierce Entertainment Network Social.
Yes.
And then you have Fashion Edge, which is really cool. The Emerging Designer Gauntlet exhibit.
Yes.
Tell us about those two divisions.
Okay, yeah. So the FEN Social, like you said, the Fierce Entertainment Network Social, it came out of, once again, a need with people asking about it. It's essentially a replica of our VIP experience during Orlando International Fashion Week. So what we would do for our VIP experiences before the show, we would have all of the VIP ticket purchasers, meet in another room, and they'll have drinks, cocktails. They'll get to meet the designers. They get to meet some of the models and just have like a behind the scenes experience and network with each other. and then we'll provide a little bit of entertainment for them during the show. And then, I mean, before that's all that is right before the show. Then when the show starts, we'll usher them to their seats. So what we found that was happening was that they were having so much fun with the networking and the backs behind the scenes part that it was delaying the show because they didn't want to hurry up and get back to their seats. So we was like, okay. And then some of them are asking us, okay, when are you going to do that next networking thing? When are you going to do that? It's like, well, what about the show? So we was like, okay,
Right.
there's a market for that. And so
Right.
that's where we came up with the Fin Social.
That's awesome. This is a great business networking opportunity. Yeah.
Yes. So Fashion Edge, Edge is an acronym. So I'm a veteran, so I love acronyms, as you
Yes.
can tell. So it's there's Fashion Emerging Designer Gauntlet Exhibit.
Got it.
So it's basically a competition. So we usually do that during Fashion Week or around Fashion Week. It's an opportunity for designers that are interested in getting into the industry. They might not be as comfortable or as established, but it's a good opportunity for them to display their stuff and to do it in a competitive environment. So we will put, so we allow different designers, to participate in Orlando International Fashion Week, and we have different shows throughout the week, so different types of fashion. So we will not put like a high fashion, gown in with a, let's maybe, streetwear. So
Right.
at the edge is also an opportunity where we would put the edgier, we'll put streetwear, we'll put edgier lingerie and stuff like that, in that environment. And so
Very
it's an edgy
cool.
show, and it's also a competition.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to another show. You
Yes.
mentioned a gown and streetwear. I have to tell you, after hosting a show one night, my back hurt so bad. I had on this beautiful Betsy Johnson gown, and I threw on some Converse with my gown because we were heading to a nightclub afterwards for networking. And the representative came to me and said, "Oh, no, you do not wear Converse with Betsy Johnson gowns." I was like, "Oh."
Wow. Wow.
But that's like my tomboy and beauty queen sides were like battling, I'm like, I need
Yes.
to feel comfortable if I'm going to be dancing. But nope, they said, "Those heels need to go right back on your feet."
Oh man.
So
Poor
I
thing.
couldn't pull it off. Maybe on the runway I can do it. I
Yes.
don't know. We'll see. So, the Emerging Designer Gauntlet exhibit. I have
Yes.
to tell you, I personally met and actually interviewed one of these designers,
Okay.
and he was very unique. I have to tell you. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but he was like one of the most unexpected people to be a designer. He's a plumber.
Oh
Do you know what I'm
yes,
talking
yes,
about?
yes, yes. Frank A.
Frank Gay. He owns Frank
Yes,
Gay Plumbing, and
yes.
he's a designer.
He's a designer. Yes.
Yes. You never know what people's passions are.
Right.
So here he has a great, very successful plumbing company.
Yes.
But his life passion was to be a designer, and you presented that opportunity for him to create this whole line and display it on a fashion show. That was so impressive.
That was amazing. Yes.
That was really, really amazing. So, do you guys manage talent also, or do you just manage the events?
Our original goal was to, get registered as a talent agency.
Okay.
We decided to not do that, not go that route. But we do manage a couple of people that we work with. Try not to do too much because we're biting off a lot on our plate.
Right. It's time managing an artist.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's times sensitive, and you care about their careers and what they do. So I would consider it more of assisting than managing. So we'll guide them with marketing tools. We'll guide them with if we can find gigs for them, then we will. But we're not like a sole management. So I will shout out to a couple people, Rich Fontaine, who's a incredible speaker. He's one of the people that we try to help out as much as possible. And Keith Kong, which I hope you'll have on your show as well.
Hello, Rich and Keith.
Yeah, Keith is the mentalist. Yeah, he's amazing. So
nice. So tell me, I need to know: are you like Frank Gay? Was fashion your passion? How did you come up with a fashion business, you and Jessica?
Right.
And she's a psychologist.
She's
and you're a military sergeant, and you created this amazing fashion empire here in Orlando.
Fashion is definitely not my passion, believe it or not.
Really?
The logistics part of it. Now,
Okay.
the entertainment part was is more of my fashion. So that's why we, as a company name, we focus. It's Fierce Entertainment Management, and
Right.
which is a blessing because it allows us to highlight all kinds of entertainment. But coming up as a kid, there's another little known fact. I was a rapper. I used to rap.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I was
And that
big
wasn't in your bio either. You're a
I
rapper.
wasn't. Yeah, I was a rapper. I used to
Nice.
perform in high school and go to different shows and open up for a few people. So it was.
Wow, look at you.
And I was really serious about it. I was really good back in the day. So
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so we're not going to see any Rob Henlon designs on the runway.
no,
But you're going to keep that runway going for those emerging designers.
Yes, but we do. So from the creative on the graphic design side, we do have a clothing line.
Oh, you do?
Yes, Always
Yeah,
Fierce.
okay, I know I've seen a lot of the t-shirts.
Right. So if you go to alwaysfierce.com, you'll see like the different types of clothing. We have like, it's really just our logo, but you'll see, we have like leopard print, some stuff with leopard print and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's popular. So alwaysfierce.com for some fierce entertainment wear.
Nice, yeah.
And if a model or a designer wants to be a part of your show, how can they get involved?
Yeah, they could definitely go to OrlandoInternationalFashionWeek.com.
Okay, it's right on the ticker below.
Yep, and just register. We have different opportunities for them to register as a model, designer, volunteer, hair and makeup. So there's different opportunities for them to register over there.
Excellent. Well, Rob, thank you so much for coming on the show. I had so much fun with you today.
Yes.
And thank you again on behalf of all of the artists and designers here in Florida, specifically in Orlando, for the opportunities that you present here. And you guys are always such a pleasure to work with. It's like you don't have big heads, you don't have the industry attitude that is so common. Like I said earlier, you guys possess such a spirit of joy and excellence in everything you do. So it was always such an honor to work with you. And it was an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was great being here. We had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to returning the question for you tonight.
I have a little trivia question for you tonight.
Okay, all right.
Let's see if you know the answer.
All right, I'm ready.
But I'm looking forward to it, and I want everybody to stay tuned to, of course, our show, but I want them to stay tuned to your show. I'm a fan of your show. So check out Fierce Entertainment Live. It takes place on Fridays at 6. So make Friday your Jenny, Rob, and Jessica and Star Day, right?
Yes. And DJ Tron.
And DJ Tron. He's so cool. And obviously we'll just, wait for the next show to come about. I'm sure it's going to be in the works soon once we get through all of this. And I can't wait to get out there with our news team and cover the next fashion show.
Thank you. We love to have you guys. A big fan of FNN News, Florida National News. We love you guys. Big shout out to Melissa, Willie, the whole team, and everything that you guys are doing. Appreciate you.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Well, send our love to Jessica. I'll see her tonight anyway.
Yes.
Thank you again, Rob. Stay tuned for next week. We have another special guest. His name is Jesse Malinowski. Jesse is an actor. He is also the founder of Get Seen Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, but he's originally from Florida. So how cool is that? He's also a motivational speaker, and he's going to be joining us right here on Entertainment Buzz next week. We're looking forward to meeting with Jesse and get some news on what he's doing during COVID-19 and what his future plans are. Thank you for staying tuned, everyone. This was Entertainment Buzz, and I'm your host, Jenny Rosario de Casiano. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you next week.